There's no water in the pool.
Yeah, I had it drained. The electricity costs a fortune. I can't afford that. You're the only one who uses it.
I thought we were getting along better like this.
So, blood money.
So I don't need one.
No, not that Blood Money, because that game was actually a masterpiece. I'm talking instead about the Blood Money DLC. Now, what went wrong? Because a lot of people are really unhappy with this DLC. People are either pissed off or they're disappointed. Very few people actually like this DLC. And I noticed that people that like this DLC typically are newer players because they don't understand that a lot of these DLC missions are basically recycled bag missions, which is what the majority of this DLC is. Now, there are a few good things, but most of the stuff in here is just disappointing. Now, I made a video a week before the DLC came out, and in that video, I talked about why this DLC, the Blood Money DLC, has the potential to be the most important DLC on Reddit Online. And I still think it is the most important DLC for Reddit Online, but not important in a good way. Now, let me explain. In the past year, basically what has happened was Reddit Online has had just either terrible, boring, or almost nothing updates. And the last real update that we got was the Naturalist update. Now, Naturalist, this was an okay update, but ultimately I thought that it was boring. It did have content in it, it did have the legendary animal missions, but at the same time you got really bored of this really fast, because all you did was run around looking for these legendary animals, constantly sedating them, only to be knocked out by Harriet when you defended yourself from wild animals. Naturalist would have been a fine DLC if it was included into something larger. For instance, if there was a DLC that released 2 or 3 roles, and one of those roles was the Naturalist, that would have been fine. But Naturalist on its own just made the DLC boring, and people got bored of it really fast. Then what happened was Rockstar went silent for nearly half a year, and we had gotten the Bounty Hunter expansion in December of 2020. Now that DLC, that one was just 10 new ranks to the Bounty Hunter. That's all it was. And not only that, but Rockstar also cut daily challenges in half, which upset a lot of players, and some players stopped playing the game ultimately because of that, because they had massive streaks going on, and they had lost those streaks. Additionally, Rockstar did allow us to make gold bars by redeeming Bounty Hunter XP, but this was, very small in comparison to the damage they did with the daily challenges being nerfed. And I understand that they added some cool missions into the Bounty Hunter expansion. They added, some missions with a story and cutscenes, but ultimately they were just basically Bounty Hunter missions, the same old that we've had for a long time. And then in March of 2021, Rockstar released the worst DLC the game has ever had, Outlaw Pass 5, which isn't even a real DLC. They released an Outlaw Pass with no content, no DLC attached to it, and they expected people to buy it. And that's exactly the reason on why I said this DLC has the potential to be the most important DLC. Why? Because for a year straight, Reddit Online has been severely neglected, really badly. And if you compare it to GTA Online, where GTA Online had gotten the Cayo Perico heist in December of 2020, while Reddit Online had gotten a Bounty Hunter expansion with 10 new ranks, Cayo Perico was 10 times bigger than what we had gotten on Reddit Online. And then look, the Tuners DLC, that DLC was much larger than what we had gotten with Blood Money. The reason this DLC is so important is because people are going to stop playing the game. People are going to give up hope. When you neglect your game for a year straight, barely talking to your community and releasing these type of updates, you're gonna have people stop playing the game. And I noticed that people are less excited for the game. My channel in terms of Reddit Online was the most popular in 2019 because that 2019 had some good updates. Frontier's Pursuits, which was the best one, and then you had Moonshiner, which was also a great update. But ever since after Moonshiner, all of these DLCs have just been boring or some kind of disaster. And Blood Money is no different. Blood Money is a major disappointment. People got really excited for this DLC. People got hyped up, but unfortunately, it was a disappointment. And I made this poll about a week ago to ask people what they thought of the situation. Now, the reason I didn't have a choice on here to ask people if they already stopped playing the game is because I had that in a previous post. So in this poll, I wanted to know people that still played the game before, when the update released. How did they react? Did they still keep playing the game, or did they stop? And just like I predicted, this update has the potential to break Reddit Online. I had 41,000 people vote in this. 53% of 41,000 people voted that I had hope, but now I'm done with it. Rockstar doesn't care. That is about 21,000 people, and I think this number is just going to go up in the next few weeks when people look at this poll. So 21,000 people that are not going to play Red Dead Online anymore. And that's only the people that saw my poll. There was, I guarantee you this number is even higher than that. This number is even much higher than this. Now, I know what some people are going to say, oh, professional, people change their minds, they come back to the game. Sure, some people change their minds, but let's just say that 50% of that 53% are telling the truth, that they are not going to play the game anymore. That is still around 10,000 people. 10,000 people that are not going to play the game. So if everybody's being completely honest that they're not going to play the game anymore, that is 21,000 players that they lost. That is a disaster. Even half of that, 10,000 players, that is a disaster to lose that many players on your game. That is terrible for the future of the game. That is not good. 22% said, I'll keep playing Red Dead Online, but I'm disappointed. And then 10%, I'm not playing until another update. And only 4% said that they actually like the update. Only 4% out of that 41,000. 11% said the update was okay. I'll still keep playing though. So what is the problem with this update? What's so bad about it that people are just so disappointed? Let's start off with the intro right here. The intro to this update is actually pretty strong. So the intro actually has a pretty strong cutscene, and actually a pretty cool cutscene in which you're introduced to Guido Martelli, and he seems like a pretty intimidating guy.
Forgive me, Signor. I thought we'd be meeting alone.
Who is this?
He was just arrested by one of my men in the old quarter. I thought you might be interested to see what they found in his possession.
How did you come by this? You stole it, yes?
No. Please, Senor Martelli.
Do not speak my name, porco.
I found it. I swear to you, I did.
On your knees.
I did. I found it. I did.
On your knees.
I swear to you. No, please.
Where did you steal it?
I promise you that I didn't steal.
I will ask you only one more time. Where did you steal it?
From some of the Cornwall's boys. Leviticus Cornwall.
Thank you, Chief. I trust this man will face the full penalty of the law.
Most assuredly, Signor.
So that right there is the intro, and I actually really like this intro. I think that this is actually a much better intro than the Naturalist intro. However, this just goes to show you that even when an update has a good intro, it can still be really bad. So an update can have a good beginning, but in the end can be really bad. Now, Guido Martelli that we see in this introduction, he's, this badass gangster that we see in this cutscene, about to shoot a guy in the face, and they had the police chief in that scene just to show you how much power this guy has. This guy has so much power that the police chief is even in his pockets. A great way to introduce a character. Unfortunately, you never see Guido Martelli again at this point. You never see him again. Maybe he'll come back in a drip feed mission, but you never see him again here from on this point. And all the characters constantly talk about Martelli this, Martelli that, but you never see him again. He does narrate the opportunity mission, to be fair, but physically you never see the guy again, which is a bit of a disappointment. So after you talk to Martelli, 4 strangers are going to have blood money missions available. These 4 strangers are going to be Joe, James Langston, Sean McGuire, and Anthony Foreman. And my best guess is that when Rockstar releases Drip Feed, other strangers are probably going to have additional blood money missions. And so you basically go up to these strangers and you go to a separate tab now with them, and you can start up the blood money missions. And let's start about talking about the generic missions, and then we'll talk about the contracts. So 3 characters have stagecoach stick-ups. These are Anthony Foreman, James Langton, and Sean McGuire. Now, stagecoach stick-ups, these missions are the laziest mission. The laziest mission in this update. This mission just sucks. It's just so boring. Basically, you do the exact same thing that you would do in the single player in generic stranger missions. All you basically do is you either find a clue or you just go straight towards the wagon and you kill all the people, all the guards around the wagon, and then you either kill or knock out the guy with the bag. That's it. That's what you do. And then you take the bag and you take it to the destination and drop it off. The only difference between this and the stranger missions where you rob the stagecoach is that when you loot the guy that has the bag, you can get 1 Capitali. That's it. That's the only difference. That's what stagecoach stick-up missions are the laziest here. And I'll talk about the Capitali currency right after I explain these missions. So that's for the 3 characters, Anthony, James, and Sean. Now, Joe has his own unique mission. He doesn't have a stagecoach stick-up, he has a lit fuse, which that mission kind of sucks. because it's a mission where you go near that bridge in the upper part of the map near the Amberino region, where you fight the US Army and then you steal a wagon full of dynamite. And all it takes is just one shot and the wagon blows up, which I really don't like this mission personally. Now, you also have another mission that all 4 characters have called Dirty Money, Dirty Deeds. This is also another really lazy mission. Now, Dirty Money, Dirty Deeds, all this is basically is just looting an enemy camp. That's all it is. You just go towards enemy camp, you kill the enemies at the camp, and you just loot the camp. You take a single bag or multiple bags, depending on how many players you play with, and just take it to drop-off point. Now, you can find 1 Capitali in these camps, but that's the only difference between that and gang hideouts, and, you know, defend the camp. Because all you're pretty much doing here is just clearing it out and you get an extra Capitali. These missions are just so boring. That's why a lot of Red Dead players are angry, because this is already what we had. The stagecoach missions with the bag, we already had that. And these camp attacks and Dirty Money, Dirty Deeds, these are really no different than a gang hideout when you think about it. The only difference is instead of confronting a gang leader at the end, you're taking a bag and you're looking for some Capitali. There is no difference here whatsoever. And then we have Cleaning House. Now, Cleaning House, where do I start with this? Cleaning House is the most disappointing mission. So while Stagecoach Stick-Up is the laziest one, Cleaning House is the most disappointing one, because this is the thing that I was looking forward to. Now, the burglary missions in GTA San Andreas were some of my favorite missions. I loved the burglary side activity, and I know I can't compare GTA to Red Dead, but the point that I'm making is that I like that style of gameplay where, you know, you're sneaking around and you're stealing stuff. Even when I played the Elder Scrolls games, I just loved, you know, breaking into houses and, you know, sneaking around, trying not to get caught and just stealing things. I thought it was really fun, and I was really hoping that we would possibly get something like this here. However, though, I also had it in the back of my head that this could be a disaster, that this wasn't going to be fun. Instead, what I thought was, I had this prediction. This is exactly what I thought. Look at what I predicted about this. But you see, you know, you see 2 players, you know, knocking out the people here. So, you know, hopefully, you know, there's some, you know, intimidation here. You know, you threaten them, they tell you where the goods are, stuff like that. Because, you know, if you simply got to go to these homesteads, you kill a bunch of gangsters, and you loot a single chest, that's going to be boring. You know, it's just going to be like another gang attack, gang hideout. You know, people aren't going to like doing that. So as you guys heard from there, I pretty much predicted what the Homestead Robberies were going to be. At least I was hoping it wouldn't be like that. The only difference between my prediction and what actually happened was I said that it's going to be a single chest, but there tends to be 2 chests that you loot, or 1 chest and a bag that you steal. That's it. These homesteads, they're filled with gangsters, they're filled with outlaws. There are no civilians here. It's dumb. It's ridiculous, because you can clear these out pretty quickly to steal a single bag, loot the Capitali, and then you leave. And that's it. And enemies don't even typically chase you on these missions. And there isn't really even a reward for doing this quietly. Now, for instance, with this homestead robbery here, I'm speeding this clip up a little bit, I had killed everyone quietly. Everyone quietly, and I didn't get anything extra. You know, if you're sneaking around like this and you take everyone out quietly and you're trying to break into this place, you'd think you'd get some type of bonus. You'd think you'd get something extra for your efforts, but unfortunately you don't. I mean, just take a look at this. This is another homestead robbery that I did. Look at how boring this is. All I need to do is just fire 1 shot, everybody just comes out the front door, and I kill all of them. That's it. That is it for the mission. I just take the bag and the Capitali, and I'm done. This is so boring. This is the most disappointing mission. I was expecting so much more from the homestead robberies, considering that the homestead robberies were actually much better in the single player. And now some people are probably asking me, okay, Professional, if you were designing the homestead robberies, how would you have made this different from Rockstar? Well, for one, I would have put civilians in these places, not just gangsters. Maybe there could be outlaws in certain places, but there should be civilians, you know, people running away from you, screaming, trying to get the law. Like, maybe there could be people that you could intimidate, you know, scare, and they could tell you where other certain hidden loot is. I mean, in the single player, there's a mission in Chapter 2 in which Hosea and Arthur actually break into that small ranch not too far from Emerald Station. And you can actually choose to go into the day or the nighttime. And if you go in the nighttime, they're actually sleeping in the house. You can sneak around the house. It'll tell you how much loot you've stolen. You can actually find some money in the chimney. You can take a bunch of stuff from here. And then you sneak out of the house, you get into the wagon with Hosea, and you just leave the area. And that was actually much better than what we had gotten here. Now, what they could have done in this regard to online is they should have had these things in free mode. Like, it shouldn't have been just simply where you just start the mission up. I know it's technically in free mode still, but it shouldn't be where you just start the mission. These homesteads should be out in the world, and you should be able to rob them. If somebody already has robbed them, then I guess there might be a cooldown on them. But you could go to these homesteads, and depending on the homestead, there could be different people there, different civilians or different outlaws. And maybe they could actually put a new lockpick system in. Maybe they could actually add a lockpick as a new thing and add certain things that are locked. There is a lock breaker in the game that you can buy from the fence that is pretty much useless and has been in the game for years. When you can just smash open locks with your gun in a lot of places, maybe they could make certain safes that you can only break open with a lock breaker, or that you could add a new lock picking minigame, something like that. Maybe add like safes out in the world. And then what they could do is they could have it where instead of looking for, just a single bag, you could be going through a house looking for different items, and then when you get a combination of items, then maybe you could combine those, get them to a specific seller, and they'll pay you more for that. Maybe they could also add it where there's like a wagon specific to the Homestead Robberies, where you load up the stuff in the wagon, kind of similar to what you did with San Andreas the van. Maybe they could do it where there's like a chest or something that only 2 players can pick up, and then that way that could encourage 2 people to play a specific mission. You could put it in the chest, and then you could take it to the fence, and you could sell it. That would just be much more fun. And I could also imagine maybe like scaring somebody or intimidating somebody, and they could tell you, oh, there's a chest buried in the backyard or something like that. That would have been much better. You see from the trailer that you see like players just knocking people out, kind of beating them up. It seems like they're going to be scaring them, but the reality is very different. You just go to these places, it's just a single gang, like a gang hideout. You kill all of them, you take the bag in the Capitali, and you're done. Homestead Robberies are just such a disappointment. And the last for the generic missions, we have this mission from Sean that only Sean can start called Wrongful Property, where you go to that mine up near in the Amberino region, and you clear out a bunch of enemies, you steal a bag or multiple bags depending on how many people you're playing with, and you can loot a Capitali chest, and you kill the enemies here. That is pretty much it. I don't see this any different than any other stranger mission that we've had before this. Now moving on to the contract missions. There's 3 contracts in the game, and each contract is 3 missions, and no matter which NPC you start the contract with, if it's the same contract, it's going to be the same mission each time. So let's start off with the Jeb Phelps contract. The Jeb Phelps contract, you break Jeb Phelps out of his prison wagon. He's an outlaw that knows the location of a Capitali stash. And then what you do is you take him over to Van Horn, you shoot a bunch of enemies, you basically destroy the town, cause a bunch of chaos, though I did encounter an invisible glitch where I was actually killed by invisible enemies. I did resolve this by starting a fire in the town, which alerted more enemies, but at the same time as there's an annoying glitch that I encountered when I played this level. Then in the second mission, you go over to Beaver's Hollow, and you start burning one of the gang leaders' houses. The gang shows up, you kill the gang, you tie up the gang leader, and then you take him to a location. In the third one, you meet with Jeb over in Ansburg. There is actually a cutscene here, so there's a little bit of a story here. And what happens is Jeb will take you over to his stash in Lemoyne, that fort that's actually north of Saint Denis, and you will start fighting a bunch of gang members. Jeb will actually then at this point pass out, in which you can find his stash and get the Capitali underground. Bit of an okay contract, but this contract was much better than at least the generic missions that we got, because at least, there was somewhat of a story here. And then in the railroad contract. The railroad contract is the best paying one. It starts off when you're trying to sabotage the Union Railroad, and you go over to the camp in the Roanoke Ridge region. You kill a single guy here, you hide his body, you wait for more of his guys to show up, then you steal a wagon. That's pretty much it for the first mission. In the second mission, what you're doing is you're actually trying to destroy supply crates on a train. And then in the third mission, you are actually confronting the railroad. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. The railroad leader. Or the gang leader in this section. He threatens you a little bit, so, there's a little bit of a specific dialogue here, but, it's not a very cinematic mission. But like I said, it's better than what we had gotten with these generic missions. And then lastly, we have the Bluewater Contract. The Bluewater Contract is the best contract out of all of them, and it has the best missions out of all of them. So in this contract, you actually meet Bluewater John, which he actually is probably the most important character in this DLC. He's actually probably more important than Martelli, because he actually makes his DLC more interesting. So even though he doesn't play that significant of a role, when he's actually there, he's a really cool character. He's this former gang member that plays in his guitar, and he's actually pretty dangerous. Even though he seems harmless, he actually is pretty dangerous. And there's actually a pretty unique cutscene with him right here. So let's watch this cutscene. This is in the third mission. So in the first mission, you basically go and you beat him up. You find out where his old gang is held up, and you go over that location. You get the map from his guitar. You kill that gang. There's a lot of enemies though, so the Bluewater Contract is the hardest contract out of all of them. In the second mission, you go over to different gang locations in Lemoyne. You clear them out, and the third one, we have a unique cutscene with him, a really cool cutscene in which he's playing the guitar. And you can actually see there's a lot to this here of this character. This character is pretty sneaky, even though he seems like he's innocent. And that's what I like about him.
Yeah, I won't pretend this devil's hand. I got my revenge. Yours truly, Bluewater Man.
So as you guys see that, even though you tied him up, he somehow got loose, he got back on his guitar, and he alerted the Nightfolk to you. And this scene is actually pretty cool, where you start getting attacked by a bunch of Nightfolk. So even though the majority of the DLC is boring, it does have a few significant cool moments, like this section right here. And then at that point, you just basically go and get Bluewater John's stash. And that's pretty much it. That is it for all of the missions. But now, I didn't talk about the currency yet. So when you play these missions, what do you get? You get Capitali, which the characters say right here.
Me? I don't have nothing to do with this bullshit Capitelli. I just take it from you fools and hand it over to one of the Italians' goddamn pets. Italian only understands one thing, Capitelli, and you ain't got enough.
But I ask you to do it for the sake of their considerable wealth and stock of Capitali. Right, Capitali then. You know, I've been thinking about the economics of the situation. So, Martelli and his cronies are trading this Capitali stuff among themselves. I mean, just the other night, a lady of negotiable affection asked me if I was paying in cash or Capitali.
On some stacks of cash, and worryingly for them, Capitali.
Tonight, and who knows? Probably some Capitali tucked in somewhere too.
Get some Capitelli. So, dress, turn the place inside out and take whatever you damn well please. Including any Capitali they got. Don't get the wrong idea.
They sitting pretty on a nice little nest egg. Some Capitelli, too.
Got your stinking Capitelli. Some of your damn Capitelli, too. You just gotta have the stomach to take it.
I don't have the stomach to take them constantly saying Capitelli over and over and over again. I never thought that a single word could become so annoying just hearing them saying it over and over and over again. Capitelli is now officially the most used word in Red Dead Online. I hear this word for these 4 NPCs that I'm constantly going through, and they're repeating it multiple times. They will say Capitelli multiple times in just a sentence. I didn't picture this word could actually become annoying, and I'm not the only person that feels about this. A lot of other people think that it's just annoying. Joe's like, oh, got your stinking Capitelli here, but yet he's constantly talking about it over and over and over again. And the worst part about this is that you can't skip these little cutscenes. You know, these little cutscenes when you talk to the strangers to start the missions, you can't skip these cutscenes. I could understand making us watch them, like, you know, the first time and seeing what the NPC is saying, but when we gotta constantly rewatch this just to start up the mission, to grind, to look for more Capitelli, as they're saying, it gets annoying. Why can we not skip this? Why are we not able to skip this? I gotta constantly hear these characters talking about the mission, talking about the precious Capitelli and all this other stuff. It's just annoying. It's just so frustrating. People want to get right onto the mission. When they go up to the stranger, they might listen to them the first time, but then afterwards, they just want to get on with the mission. This is one thing that I like about Bounty Hunter, because Bounty Hunter, when you go up right to the board, it'll just start it immediately. But for this, you gotta sit there and just listen to them talk about Capitelli and talk about the mission. And you're gonna be listening to these guys, and it's gonna get to the point where people are gonna probably remember every single sentence that these guys have said, because they repeat themselves so much. But even though them constantly saying Capitelli is annoying, what about Capitelli? Is it actually a good currency? What is it exactly? Here's a little summary of what it is.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Krabs. I learned my lesson. And by the way, Bubble Buddy picked up the tab.
What's this?
Bubble money. At least they left a tip.
So you guys saw that clip. That perfectly summarizes exactly what Capitelli is, especially with the 50% glitch that's currently going on. And I'll get to the glitches in a little bit. So Capitelli is a new currency that's in this DLC. And one thing that I found frustrating about it is that we gotta constantly go into the satchel just to see how much Capitelli we have. I wish that we could actually have it up on the screen and it would actually say how much Capitelli we have. And I know some players would say, oh, I don't want it blocking more parts of my screen. That's fine. You should have an option in the option settings to disable that in the display settings, but I'd like to see it on my screen. I just don't like personally going back into the satchel to check in it. And once you get up to 50 Capitali, you actually cannot get any more. Okay, that's fine. But what about Capitelli? Capitelli you will find throughout missions. So as you play different missions, you will find Capitelli. The most notable Capitelli location is it'll actually be in these small little chests, these lockboxes. When you see these lockboxes in missions, then you can find Capitelli in them. And you can find between 1 to 3 Capitelli, I've noticed, inside the boxes. So if you want to know where a lot of the Capitelli locations are, just check out my guide. I will have that at the end of this video, and I also have that in the description. I found a lot of the locations, and I made a guide in every single mission. What I find really frustrating about Capitelli, additionally, is that in a lot of these missions, when we talk to the NPCs, they're telling us that we're stealing Capitelli in these bags, but yet we don't actually get any Capitelli ourselves. We don't. You can only find it in missions, so you have to actually find it in missions or find it by looting specific enemies. That's the only place that you can find Capitelli. You don't earn Capitelli by playing the mission. Every single mission that you complete, you should get a minimum of at least 1 Capitelli. And some of the harder missions, you should get a minimum of 2 Capitelli. It's ridiculous that you play these missions, that you're stealing Capitelli, and you can only get it by finding these specific lockboxes or looting enemies. If you complete a mission, you should get some Capitelli just for that. Now, what do you actually use the Capitelli for? Use the Capitelli to start up the opportunity mission like I was discussing earlier. Now, with the opportunity mission, this is where you will actually be stealing an emerald on a train in Saint Denis. And you can start this mission up with any stranger. You will actually hear Martelli actually narrate this, similar to how a legendary bounty basically starts. And now on this, I thought that this was a generic train mission at first, but there actually is numerous ways to actually approach this situation. For example, what you can do in this mission is you can overhear a cop and a worker discussing a checkpoint up ahead. And then what you can do is you can actually go towards that checkpoint and you can actually lay an ambush. Take a listen to this. So that's one way to actually ambush the train. Another way to ambush the train is there's actually fireworks on the right side. Now, if you actually sneak around the dock, you can actually hit the fireworks, and it'll do this. Now, once the fireworks are going off, what this will do is this will distract all of the guards that are near the platform, but it won't make the guards that are on the train will not get off the train. They'll still be on the train. And then we also have the note at the post office. Now, you can go to the post office and you can get a note from the clerk here, and this note will actually tell you where treasure chests are. Now, the treasure chests, they don't, from what I've seen, they don't have money in them, but they do have things like jewelry. Not like the type of collectible jewelry, but like the standard type of jewelry that you find in the world. So that is a few more dollars and some tonics that you can find in that. There's also 2 prisoners on the train that you can actually untie and they'll help you fight, but if you do that and you're doing stealth, you will automatically be caught. So this mission has more to it than I thought. Originally, I thought it was a simple mission where, you just jump on the train and you just steal the emerald, and that's it. But there are a few ways to go about this mission, which is nice. So this mission, they definitely put some more work into, and I hope the other opportunity missions are better than this. This is by no means on GTA heist level in terms of like planning or anything, but still it's nice that you can do a few more things here. The thing that I find really annoying about this mission is that most players aren't going to do those strategies. So like the clues that I had, you know, the boxes and like the fireworks, or even like waiting for the train and then stopping it, most people aren't going to do that. And the reason that most people aren't going to do that is because you are probably going to get spotted by the cops. Now, you can actually walk near the train, but don't get too close. The unfortunate thing is that there's no marker on the map which tells you how close you can actually get to the train, so you have no idea. And sometimes this mission will actually glitch out, where you could be like a block away from the train, and for some reason you will actually get spotted and get a wanted level. Now, when I completed this mission, I got around $225, which I think is the max that you can get on this mission, but I spent like an hour at the same time just experimenting with all the different strategies. So the longer you take on these missions, the more money you get. So this mission is better than all the other, you know, standard missions. It is more unique in, you know, how you can plan out and, like, you know, look for clues and do certain things, but it's not amazing. It's not like, you know, the perfect heist that we've been waiting for. I would have much preferred if there was a train that we could rob in free mode itself, or even a bank that like people could actually rob in free mode ourselves. Maybe like a train where we could actually like take hostages and like rob each one of them, something like that. But this was just, you know, a cargo train where you steal an emerald. But now that we covered that opportunity mission, let's talk about some other things. First of all, in regards to Capitelli. Now, Capitelli has a massive problem, and that is that this can be purchased with gold. You can purchase Capitelli with gold bars. I'm not joking on that. Now, 3 gold bars will get you 10 Capitelli, and 25 gold bars will unlock the Roofless mission. You should always do the Roofless mission because it'll get you the most amount of money. So basically, you would have to spend around 9 gold bars if you wanted to do this mission. Just with gold bars. So if you wanted to get Capitelli instantly, you'll be spending 9 gold bars. And I'll tell you though, that the amount of money that you're going to get, you're not going to get like $225 like me unless you spend an hour on the mission. If you just do the mission, you know, 10-15 minutes, you know, you're probably going to get around $100 for doing this mission. So it doesn't make sense, you know. Why would you waste 9 gold bars for a single mission that's going to get you around $100? The logic in that just makes no sense. Why is that even a thing? Maybe when they release more opportunity missions, it will make more sense, but I still don't think it'll make sense. I don't think that there's that. I think this is just a specific reason for players that don't feel like playing the game, players that don't feel like doing the missions in the game are going to be more inclined to buy this Capitelli, and that's probably what Rockstar's trying to cash in on here. I really don't like that. And speaking of which, Arthur's outfit has actually been added to the game. Now, Arthur's outfit, I've had this outfit because I completed the previous Outlaw passes, but the thing about his outfit is his outfit actually costs either 52 or 54 gold bars. I'm trying to remember. Somebody in the comments will let me know. It's either 52 or 54, but regardless, not that big of a difference. So that's a massive amount of gold that you're going to be paying. 52 or 54 gold bars for the for an outfit. Now, one of the best horses in the game, the Black Arabian horse, I believe that horse is 41 gold bars. So you're going to be paying around over 50 gold bars for a single outfit. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And if we take a look at this picture right here, let's take a look at this picture. If you were to purchase Arthur's outfit with gold bars from the store, then you would be paying around $20 for the outfit. Arthur's outfit is worth around $20. $20 for one single outfit. That's how overpriced this is. I know that I'm comparing it in my country, but I'm assuming that in other countries it will be similar price, but $20, that's ridiculous for just one outfit. I could buy Red Dead Online as a separate game for $20 instead of purchasing an outfit for just $20. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be a thing. And now as for the Quick Draw Club, Quick Draw Club, this is what has been replacing the new Outlaw Pass system. So I'm assuming Rockstar is going to go with these Quick Draw Clubs now. And Quick Draw Clubs, these are going to drop apparently every single month, and they're 25 ranks. And the good thing about Quick Draw Clubs is that you actually get back all of your gold bars. Now, with the previous Outlaw Passes, you actually didn't get back all of your gold bars unless you purchased it within the first week. But now this, you will get all of your gold bars back. So that's actually, I think, a good thing. And I think it's actually good that they're releasing one every month, because that'll give people something to do at least in that month, even though you can level it up pretty quickly. But I really didn't, have much of a problem with the Quick Draw Club. I'm personally fine with it, but I know some people would have preferred the Outlaw Pass, but you do get all of your gold bars back if you do invest into this. And now let's talk about the glitches in this game. So we've talked about, you know, the problems with this, with the mission designs, the Capitelli, the gold bars, but there's some serious glitches in this game. And now let's talk about the biggest game-breaking glitch in this update. The biggest game-breaking glitch in this update is the 50% glitch, or the infinite loading screen. One of the reasons that this review took me so long to upload was actually because of the 50% screen. So the 50% screen, basically what happens is a new glitch with this update where you basically get stuck on 50%. And sometimes you might not even see the wheel, and instead you'll just be stuck on an infinite loading screen, and you can't connect into it. And you're constantly restarting your game, getting back on the game, trying to get back into it, but unfortunately you can't. And it's sometimes you get lucky, you connect right in. Sometimes it'll take you hours to actually get in. And I'm not exaggerating by that. I literally tried to log in once, like 5 times in a row, and it wouldn't work because I constantly kept getting stuck on an infinite loading screen. It was just disgusting. This didn't happen to me before the update. Now there's some other issues. A smaller glitch that I encountered was in the first Jeb Phelps mission. There's actually invisible enemies that sometimes can appear, and I've had the invisible enemies shoot me in the house and kill me. Not really that much of a game-breaking issue because you can just shoot the lanterns and start the fire and it will spawn the rest of the enemies, but it was the fact that there was you know, invisible enemies that could shoot me and I couldn't shoot them. And now on top of it, we got another glitch, and this is a time travel glitch. People are saying, what time travel glitch? Take a look at my sky right now. So you guys see this. I'm fast forwarding this a little bit just so you guys see this, but look, I didn't edit this in any way. I'm just, you know, making the video go faster. But look, this has happened to me and to my friends. So I'm assuming this has happened to other people also, where time will actually go backwards. So you could be in the middle of nighttime and it could randomly be daytime, or I'm assuming it could be daytime and then go right to nighttime. And as I was actually looking at the time, it was going back an hour. So this was happening. You know, Rockstar looks like they made the gods of Red Dead Online angry or something with this update. So this is happening. It's not really, you know, a game-breaking glitch, but it can be annoying at times when you're in the middle of nighttime and then randomly it just becomes day and it just starts beaming all these lights right towards you. I just didn't expect that to happen. So, you know, maybe I could actually use the time travel glitch to go back in time, and then I could stop Rockstar from releasing this update and actually convince them to actually release a decently sized update. So we're getting near the end of the review, and before I talk about the pros and the cons, I want to actually read off a few comments. I'll be reading 4 comments that I really liked here, and I'm probably going to have a follow-up video on this in which I talk about what the community thinks of the Red Dead Online update, and I'll probably read like 10 different comments and break them down and give my response to them. And if you guys haven't already, you know, comment on the poll that I made. This is all under that same poll I asked earlier, you know, what people think of the Red Dead Online update. So, you know, comment on that poll because you never know, your comment could be featured in a video. So anyways, let's see here. Nightwing 7974 says, this was pretty much the first big update in a year, with us getting the naturalist role last year. Compare GTA's first 3 years of content and Red Dead Online's first 3 years of content. GTA had so much more stuff than Red Dead. Absolutely ridiculous. I agree. And it's not just GTA's first 3 years, but I mean, look at GTA in, like, you know, the last year and a half. I mean, look, what did GTA got? They got the casino heist when Red Dead Online got Moonshiners. Moonshiners was a great update too, don't get me wrong. It was an awesome update, but Moonshiners was nowhere near the size of the casino update. And then in July we had Naturalist, and then the GTA Online had the summer special update with the yacht missions. So, you know, they're kind of even. Naturalist was a little bit bigger, but then you had in December, there was no comparison. You had the Cayo Perico heist, which is one of the largest DLCs ever, comparing that to the Bounty Hunter expansion with just 10 roles. And then you had the and then in July 2021, you had a Tuners DLC, which is a massive DLC, and you compare that to this, Blood Money. Tuners is like 3 times bigger. So yeah, Nightwing, I agree with you. I mean, it's disappointing. It's so unfortunate that Rockstar neglects Red Dead Online and just favors GTA Online so much. And then we have The Strange Man. Rockstar's words on the newswire really made me think this could have been something bigger and grand, especially since the last 2 updates were quite mediocre, and I assumed they allocated resources to a proper heist DLC, but the update was a disappointment, and thankfully, I haven't touched Red Dead Online since October. So even when the Strange Man stops playing Red Dead Online, that's how you know how bad it is. So even the Strange Man isn't playing Red Dead Online anymore. That's a character in Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, he appears as an Easter egg in Red Dead Redemption 2, but you know, this is the problem. you know, this game, you know, people thought that this was going to be a big update. They thought that we were going to get something big here, that Tuners, a lot of people assumed that Tuners was going to be the small DLC on GTA Online, which is some few cars and street races, but Tuners was actually something much more larger. And then on Red Dead Online, we have this. They had that whole huge newswire post making us think that we were going to get some massive DLC when that just wasn't the case. And then from Renail Das, if I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Hello, professional. I played the update, and this was beyond my imagination on how bad the update is. There are a few reasons that for it, and if you know. If you don't know, play this game every day, but I am done now. There is simply nothing to buy in this update. There is nothing we can do. The blood money is just a simple missions, that's it. On the December update, we had some content, some good ones. We were able to buy some good things, but now we can't do anything. Rockstar simply didn't give me any reason to play their content. Blood money mission and opportunity mission. Why will I play if I don't get the main thing, Capitelli? You don't get any Capitelli for doing these missions. Instead, they take your Capitelli. If Rockstar would have given us good payouts, then surely I would have spent gold to buy Capitelli, but there is no reason to play the missions. We are just playing as it is a new content. I really wanted this game to be good, but somehow Rockstar doesn't want that, and with this update, they proved it. You know, they proved it, because we've been saying to Rockstar for so long now that you gotta deliver on this next update. You have to have a good update here, because Red Dead Online has been being neglected for a year, while GTA gets massive updates, and look at what happens here. You know, Red Dead Online gets neglected once again. You know, I wonder whether Rockstar has given up at this point and they're just experimenting with Red Dead Online just to see how little content they can make until the whole community gives up. And then we have it from Josh Cutter. Literally the laziest update I've ever seen. Most games do bigger updates than this on a monthly basis. We had to wait 7 months for a couple of stranger missions, and that's it. There's no defending it. This update shouldn't even be called an update. It's absolutely absurd, especially since GTA's updates are always, for the most part, way bigger and better. And the fact that Red Dead's version of a heist is just a big stranger mission is awful. I truly have no words for this game anymore. The best update was Frontier's Pursuit. That was a proper worthy update and something we should have seen more of. The fact that every update since has been nowhere close to that quality tells me that Rockstar does not care, and this game is truly is dead, and we're never going to see the full potential of this game. Disappointing. I agree with you, Josh, but I just hope that the game isn't dead. I just really hope it's not, because I like this game. I really want this game to succeed, but with the way that Rockstar is pushing it, this game is just turning into a big disaster, and you know, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, you know, what they release in December for the next update. But I'm gonna tell you that, you know, a lot of people have given up on this game. The polls show it. The polls shows that so many people, thousands of people, have left your game. So congratulations, Rockstar. You've lost thousands of players by not delivering on this game, not communicating with your fans, and keeping them in the dark, and then randomly releasing small updates like this. But now let's move on to the pros and the cons. And here at the end, we got the pros and the cons. So let's talk about the pros. The pros are new contracts. And I have contracts on there because the contracts are, you know, those are the new missions. You know, some of the contracts are good. You know, the Bluewater John contract is great. And then, you know, we had Jeb Phelps and the Railroad. You know, all three of them are good. But I think Bluewater John is the best one there. And then we have the Opportunity Mission. The Opportunity Mission, that's you know, probably the best mission in this entire DLC, but you know, the game doesn't really do a good job of explaining to you at the same time all these things that you can do. If you really run around the area, you can figure them out, but you know, this is by no means like, you know, heist level like on GTA Online, but I just wish that this would have been something that we had in free mode personally, where we could hit a passenger train or something like that, not another cargo train, but at the same time is, you know, still, it's the best mission in the DLC. And then we had, you know, the quick draw pass, like I said, you know, I think I'm fine with it, because you do get your 25 gold bars back, and Bluewater John. Now, Bluewater John I wanted to put as a separate thing, because even though, you know, that is a contract, I put Bluewater John down here as a character, because Bluewater John helps to make this DLC. Because if this DLC did not have Bluewater John, this DLC would be even worse. It would be much worse. Bluewater John was actually a cool character and interesting, even though he had a limited appearance. And now the cons. And as you guys can see, there's way more cons than there is pros. So the first con, generic missions. A lot of these missions, you know, the Homestead Robberies, you know, the cleaning house missions, the stagecoach stick-ups, you know, the camp attacks, these are the same thing. These are basically just reskinned, recycled stranger missions where you just go for the bag. And another con is no Capitali for mission complete. What I mean by that is that when you actually complete these missions, you don't get any Capitali. You actually have to find it in the mission, which is fine and all, but you should get some Capitali for completing the mission. There's no reason why when you complete a really hard mission, you can't even be rewarded with 1 Capitali. Another con is you can buy Capitali with gold. That's ridiculous. I don't like that this new in-game currency you can buy with gold. And how stupid is that you're paying like what, around 9 gold bars? Yeah, it will be around 9 gold bars because 3 gold bars equals 10 Capitali, so you would need then technically, yeah, you technically need around 9 gold bars in order to be able to do a roofless mission. So you're paying 9 gold bars to be able to do a mission to get some cash, which probably isn't even going to equate the 9 gold bars in the first place. So that just makes no sense. Why would you do that? And then there's no new guns or things to buy. There's not really anything new to buy. There's not even Mafia clothes in this update. You'd think that an update that focuses on Guido Martelli and Capitali, you know, a currency that the Mafia uses, you'd think it'd have some Mafia clothes, some kind of Saint Denis-styled Mafia clothes. But unfortunately it doesn't. And there's no new guns. We haven't had a new gun since the elephant gun for over 1 year on this game. And it's 50 plus gold for Arthur's outfit. Really? How stupid is that? That's even more than for the Black Arabian horse. So you're charging 50 gold, around $20 for a single outfit, and you can't skip stranger cutscenes. So that means you're going to be constantly watching the same scene over and over again where they talk to you about Capitali, Capitali this, Capitali that, and you cannot skip it, and you got to listen to that same dialogue. And then we have the annoying glitches. The annoying glitches like the 50% loading screen. We had invisible enemies in one mission. We have the time travel thing, but ultimately it's the 50% glitch that just breaks the game, and it's been over a week and a half, and the 50% glitch is still not fixed. And another con is it offers nothing new. If you really think about it and you think deeply about this DLC offers nothing new. What does it offer new? Nothing really. Nothing. The only thing that I can think of is the opportunity mission that you can kind of plan out your attack in that mission. But that's pretty much it. It's just a single mission. I understand that there's going to be drip fed opportunities. I get that. And if the drip fed opportunities are good, then, you know, I'll talk about that in a separate video. But as it stands right now, what we got waiting for, what, 7 months for another DLC after we had a bounty hunter expansion with just 10 additional ranks and an outlaw pass with no real content, this is what we get after 7 months. And look, I don't want to attack Rockstar in a whole because, you know, I do like Red Dead Online and, you know, I do like Rockstar, and I know there are some people that put work into this DLC. There's people that put work into the Bluewater John. So, you know, the guy who did Bluewater John's voice in the singing, that guy put work into this. And, you know, and I like his performance. He did great with the music. He did great with his performance as Bluewater John. That mission was great when he gets this jump by the Nightfolk. And, you know, and they did put some work into the opportunity mission at the end. But other than that, there really isn't anything. Most of these missions were just copy and paste. You just copy and paste, just stagecoach stick-ups, bag missions at the camp. It's just so boring. And you can see there's so many players that are getting off this game, and it's so disappointing. What is my final verdict on this DLC? 4 out of 10. And I think that I'm being kind of generous even with that score. You know, it's one of the lowest scores that I've given. You know, I would have probably given this a 3 or a 2 out of 10 if there was no Bluewater John in this. But because there was Bluewater John and I really liked him as a character, I hope he comes back in future missions. That, you know, bumped the score up a little bit. But at the same time is, you know, this is not what players have wanted. Why, Rockstar? If anybody from Rockstar sees this, why is it that you treat Red Dead fans like this? You have such loyal fans in this game that have been asking you, telling you for so long what they want. They want properties in this game. They want to be able to rob banks with their friends in free mode, not be in a specific mission. They want to be able to rob trains in free mode. There's so many things that players have been asking you for, and yet you just ignore that. And this is what you do. You copy and paste bag missions, and at the same time, on GTA Online, a game that's, you know, nearly 8 years at this point, you release a massive update on it, and for the Tuners DLC, but this is what you give to Red Dead Online. This is how you treat your Red Dead Online player base when they've stuck by the game for so long. You're just causing more and more people to get off the game. So that's it pretty much for this rant, guys. I'm sorry this video took me like, you know, over a week to make, and I'm sorry this video is like over 40 minutes long, but, you know, I really wanted to break this DLC down. This is the longest review that I've done on Red Dead Online, and the reason I took so much time in this review is because I wanted to talk about the problems with this game. But if you guys enjoyed my video, if you agreed with me, drop a like, and if you could share this review, it would mean a lot to me if you could share this review with other people, so this gets more views. Maybe somebody with Rockstar will see it. Maybe, you know, take my review, you know, post a link check in Rockstar's feedback page. Maybe Rockstar will see it. Maybe their next DLC won't be a total disaster like this one was. Hopefully. We can hope, right? So hopefully, we get some better content in next months coming up. Hopefully the drip feed is good, and hopefully, eventually we get a good update near the end of the year, because we're not getting another update until Christmas time, till the holiday time. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully Red Dead, improves for the better. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.